You are now entering Nyghtstorm Nation.
All I have to say is this.
Child abuse.
If you are one of those people
Divorce.
that have been put down all of your life,
Infidelity.
beat up and trapped in a pit of woe,
Depression.
it is time for you to stand up with the Nyghtstorm Nation, because we aren't going anywhere.
I'm NYGHTSTORM, the man not afraid to be transparent, as I help real people with real issues. And my co-host is my queen, my stunningly gorgeous wife. Come on, baby. Woo.
Good morning, ATL and everyone in the world. Because you know we can reach you on your smartphone, right?
Yeah.
This is Toby George Nyghtstorm, the woman not afraid to tell the truth about how things really are. And this is Nyghtstorm Radio. Radio gone real because we are you.
Yeah, now Nyghtstorm Nation, if you're in the ATL, feel free to call in at 443-558699. And to all the Nyghtstorm Nation members around the country, call in at 1-866-923-2860. You can also find out more about us, the Nyghtstorms, at Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. And you can also check us out on the Talk Radio page as well as Nyghtstorm.com and listen live. And just click that listen live button and you'll be able to hear us. And also on Love 860 AM and Love860.com, baby.
That's right. And all you smartphone owners out there, you know you got that iPhone 6.
Yeah.
This Galaxy 4. And all these
the
other.
Note 4.
Yeah, that's what I said.
The
The Note
S5.
4, S5. Whatever, stay alive. Go to your app store and download either iHeartRadio, Tunein Radio, or iRadionow. Go to the Talk Radio section. Look up WAEC Love 860 AM so that you can listen to us every Thursday from 11 to noon. And you can also go to Love860.com, click on Watch Live, and hi, I'm right here talking to you. And you can hear me, see me. What could be better than that?
You know, son.
What?
I know this is a little off topic, but I like the way how you said that, baby.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Okay. All right, so what's on tap today, my queen?
Okay, well, it's October.
Right.
And as most of us are aware, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, this is the annual campaign to increase the awareness of this disease. And today we're going to be talking about this life-altering disease and its effects on the people who is diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
You know, because it not only affects them,
right,
it affects their family and those that love them. So we're going to be getting more into that.
Yeah. Now, according to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, each year it is estimated, Nyghtstorm Nation, that over 220,000 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and more than 40,000 women will die. Now, although breast cancer in men is rare, and we talking about the men here, an estimated 2,150 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and approximately 410 will die each year. Now, I know those numbers don't match.
Alarming.
Those are alarming in themselves, okay, sweetheart? And
so these facts are very much alarming because you don't think of it with men, and we're going to get more into that information for men a little later.
Yeah.
But there is hope because according to the National Cancer Institute, when breast cancer is detected early and it's in a localized stage, the 5-year survival rate is 98%.
Wow.
And according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in recent years, perhaps coinciding with the decline in prescriptive hormone therapy replacement after menopause, we've seen a gradual reduction of female breast cancer incident rates among women ages 50 and older.
Right.
Now, the death rate from breast cancer has been declining since about 1990, and that's in part to better screening and early detection and increased awareness and continuing involvement in treatment options.
Now, a lot of folks say, okay, well, Nyghtstorms, okay, what is exactly breast cancer anyway?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that might be a stupid question that some people think that's stupid to ask, but let's just break it down what it really is.
Because there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Especially dealing with something like this.
Exactly.
Now, breast cancer is a disease in which malignant cancer cells form in the tissues of the breast. Okay. Now, the damaged cells can invade surrounding tissue, but with early detection and treatment, most people continue a normal life, and that is key. Now, we had our own personal scare with breast cancer.
Yes, we did.
And sweetheart, I ain't gonna lie. When it happened, when you with you, when you were thinking we were dealing with this.
Well, actually, we had a very good chance that we could, because I did develop some abnormal cells.
Yeah, and I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared, baby.
It's nothing like, okay, first of all, I'm turning 40.
Right.
Oh, so happy birthday to me. You're 40. Let's go and get a mammogram.
Yeah.
And women out there who've experienced that's a lovely birthday present to be squashed, have your breast squashed this way and squished this way and turned this way and that way.
Cool.
But then you're like, okay, this is just a part of turning 40. But then they come to you and they pull you over to the side and they say, we see something that doesn't look right. So we want you to come back. And we're going to watch this for it takes about a year and a half we did this.
Yeah.
Going back every 6 months and watching the changes.
All right. And Nyghtstorm Nation, I want to tell you, just as her husband, my wife and I are very, very close. Okay. And we've seen the good, the bad, and we've lived through some very, very traumatic events in our life. But when we were afraid of this may be cancerous, our life was upside down. Now, I know personally, I did a lot of praying every single day over you, baby. And I know you were too. But just as your husband, I'm the big powerlifting guy who can do everything in the gym. I felt powerless. And a lot of people, the loved ones of folks going through this also feel powerless, because it affects everybody in your family. Okay, but you can continue telling.
No, and it's just the not knowing, and then the stress of, I got to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come back in another 6 months, before we clear you. So like I said, this is basically a year to a year and a half thing where you're, under observation, going back and forth. And I was like, okay, now we're going to check you one more time in another 6 months. And you're wondering, just like, with any other disease, what's happening in between this time. So that's a stressful period. But, fortunately, I was blessed in the fact that nothing changed. It didn't change size. It didn't change shape. So for right now, I just come back once a year so we can take a look at those areas. But because at first it was in one side, and then we went back in 6 months. We had it going on the other side. Okay. And I was like, oh, my God, what's happening here?
All right, now let me ask you this, baby, because like I said, there's a lot of people, going through this, and, men and women, okay? But just focusing on the women right quick, because we're going to get to the men in a second. But as a woman, okay, and when you turn 40, okay, of course, everybody says, okay, when a woman turns 40, it's over for her, blah, blah, blah. When a man turns 40, his life is just beginning. Get that garbage out of here. We already know you women have to deal with that unfair scrutiny, period. But then when you do turn 40 and you give yourself the breast exam.
Well, see, this isn't anything that was detected in a self-breast exam, because in a self-breast exam, you're looking for lumps.
Yeah.
There was no unusual lumps. So I was going in just thinking it was going to be something routine, just to go in, and then I did a thermography also. And that was like, okay, we'll see what we're talking about in this area that they're saying, check it out. And it was one thing to go in at the first exam, and it was on the right side. But then to go in on the second exam, and it's on the left one too, oh my God, this thing is spreading. What the freak is happening here?
And the crazy thing is, you didn't have any lumps. Okay,
right,
it's just you went in for your annual checkup.
Exactly.
Okay, so that way, and what we're stressing here is that, folks need, even though we think we're invulnerable sometimes, okay, and we think we're walking around here like we're superheroes, okay, but the fact is we are human beings,
right,
and our bodies go through changes, and sometimes just looking for the lumps is not early detection enough.
Correct.
You have to go in for your annual checkups each year to make sure you're okay. I mean, because I know when you did that, and when you came out and you told me, I'm like, wait a minute. But baby, you ain't have no lumps, And I'm an expert with you, as your husband, I know you, and I didn't see anything.
Right. So, and there's all the signs that they say look for in the mirror, with raising your arms, putting them down, checking your nipples and everything, all the steps. I did that. and there was nothing there. We were totally surprised with the mammogram, and then even more alarmed when we heard that it was on the other side too. So that's a bilateral thing. And then I'm thinking, all right, so when I come back in the next 6 months, what is it going to be? Is it going to be cancer? And you have so many women who are told right then, you're seeing these females, I know especially for you, walking out in tears. Because they're you go in one way and you come out another. And I just saw the look on your face of, okay, what's going on? And then when I came out and told you now it's on the other side. And now we got to wait another 6 months. And there's nothing you can do but wait and see what happens. And then when you come back and they were like, okay, it's there, but nothing has changed. Come back in 6 months, one more time for a final check. Okay, so that's 6 months, that's a year, and then here's the other 6 months for the final check. And like I said, we were blessed enough as in the fact that nothing changed. And, they released me, and we can do it again in a year to make sure everything's all right. But that's why you have to go.
And I want to go back to these numbers one more time, okay? 40,000 women. Okay, everybody's scared of Ebola right now, okay? We talking about 40,000 women dead.
Yes.
This is serious,
it's
okay?
Serious.
And then with breast cancer in men, because, we guys, we macho.
A lot of times
we ain't
other than
that.
to be in the mirror to check your pecs.
Man, I've been in the gym. My pecs are getting bigger. Man. Check them out. I can make them dance and everything.
That's right, because that's a woman thing. You're not thinking about that.
We're not thinking about that because we're guys, the thing about us is that we do walk around like we got a cape on, okay? We feel, because of the testosterone, we feel that we are invulnerable. And, only the weak people get sick. This is something that goes on in the minds of men a lot. Only the weak people suffer. Only the weak people get sick. Strong people conquer. Strong people survive. But guess what? It don't matter how strong you are. You could be 7'9" and 400 pounds of muscle and get breast cancer. And it will take you out quickly because 410 men die each year. Now, even though that is a small number compared to the
40,
ladies, but if you're one of those 410 guys and your life is coming to an end and someone says, well, you would have had a greater survival rate if you checked yourself or came in for a checkup, you would be thinking, I don't care. One is too many.
Exactly.
Me, I'm finna die. That's too many.
Exactly. And that's why men have a higher mortality rate, believe it or not, from women. Because women are aware that this is something that we need to do and that we need to check. And that's not a thought with men. And you guys, unfortunately, once you get it and it's diagnosed, it's so far into the advanced stages, there's nothing you can do because you're not looking for it. Well, that's why you have to, have a plan.
Well, something, living with the Queen has taught me so many things about inner strength. And it ain't all about physical. It's about knowing myself and knowing what I need to do. And even though, like I said, I consider myself a very, very powerful man, this stuff scares me. And, I find myself, I ain't never told you, baby, but I be in the mirror, right?
I figured you just in the mirror.
Prepping,
Checking yourself out for being in the gym and all this other stuff.
Yeah, okay, I do that too. Yeah, I do that too.
Okay,
but
so I am right.
But yeah, you're right about that. But every now and then, with a concerned disposition, I look at myself not with aesthetics, but what's going on.
Right.
Okay. And I will check, and I'll check again. And then, I'll be like, yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm good. I'm good.
So what does the National Breast Cancer Foundation have to say about this?
Okay, now the National Breast Cancer Foundation says the best way to fight breast cancer is to have a plan that helps you detect the disease in its early stages. Now, create your early detection plan to receive reminders to do breast self-exams and schedule your clinical breast exams and mammograms based on your age and health history.
That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, the National Breast Cancer Foundation, Inc., they have been so forward thinking in this, and they want to help save lives so much that they've made it easy for you to create your plan because they provided apps just like I've always say, go and download these apps. These apps are important. It's not just for playing, Candy Crush and everything else.
They got an app for that?
They have an app for that. Okay. And you can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store and type in Early Detection Plan. And they have these apps, and it's going to enable you to be proactive about your health by reminding you to perform your routine self-breast exams and to schedule clinical breast exams and mammograms, depending on your age and your health history also.
And also, you can also learn more about clinical breast exams, mammograms, risk factors, signs and symptoms, and how to perform a breast self-exam properly. So
that's right, because you guys know how to perform a breast exam. When you're in the mirror, because I want to go back to this because this is so interesting.
Yeah, come on, baby.
When you're in the mirror, YG.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're checking yourself out.
Yes, my queen.
Do you know how to properly examine your breast to see if you feel a lump?
Well, see, okay. Now, Well, see what it is, right? When you're standing in the mirror, right? And and then you notice that your chest done got bigger because you've been in the gym lifting. Come on, fellas. Jared, what I'm talking about. Jared, come on now.
Let's dispel that myth.
Jared is laughing at me. He's not having my back right now.
Because you don't have to have big pecs. Okay, you can have a chest like Michael Jackson or Snoop Dogg and still develop breast cancer because as we said at the top, everyone has cells. They have this tissue,
right?
And even though you're sitting here thinking that I have to have big pecs in order to feel something, you can have whatever size.
But see, you were speaking about me.
Yes.
Okay, and
but we still have asked the question. So how do you do it?
Well, see, okay.
Okay, well then let me explain. So you take those hands and put them on your waist.
On your waist, right?
And then you look at yourself kind of like from side to side to see if you see any difference, any changes or whatever.
Make sure it all look good, right?
Right, and then you're gonna check your nipples and everything.
Yeah, you
want to tweak them a little bit, make sure you
just
have
tweak, just a wee bit. Yeah,
that's right. And then you want to lift up your arm.
Lift up your arm,
your head, and then you want to take your index finger and your second finger, and you want to start going around your areola, the dark part
of the nipple,
and taking each section and going around and make sure you don't feel any kind of lumps or masses. Because with men, as you're going to tell them earlier, that area that you're examining right there, that's the main area that you will find a lump.
That's the main area for us.
For you guys.
Now, like I was saying, but
Now, for women, we need to go not just around the nipple, the entire breast, and making sure that we are hitting under the arm. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us on Nightstorm TV, on Love860.com, on the Watch Live, I'm lifting up my arm now. You want to start right here under the armpits where we have those lymph nodes, and make sure you don't feel anything there also, and go around the entire area all the way up till you get to the nipple area, and then squeeze the breast where they discharge. And all those instructions, more in depth, is on these apps.
Now, question, my queen.
Yes.
Because I do know how to do this. You was just reading my mind with your psychic powers.
Oh, that's what it was.
You was reading what was already there. You didn't give me time to.
Well, I figured out and clearing your throat.
I was trying to wait for you to catch up. I was trying to wait for you to catch up, right? And really get in my see. All right, now.
Your mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Now, all right, now with guys, and we're doing the exam now. Surely ain't no pulse or fluid gonna come out.
You have no idea. That's why you check.
That's why we check. Exactly. See, you see how smart you are. You see how quickly you were able to read my mind, and I was feeding you those answers psychically because I already knew what my queen was going to ask me. And Nyghtstorm Nation, I already knew how to give a breast exam for myself after my wife tells me, of course.
YG, I think we're coming up on a break.
Yes, we are. Now, Nyghtstorm Nation, all seriousness, okay? This is very, very serious, and get yourself checked. Go on your annual checkups. That is imperative. But you are listening to Nyghtstorm Radio on Love 860 AM, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station, and we will be back with more info after the break. You ever been so depressed to where you want to hurt yourself? because life has been unkind, unfair, and unforgivable. Folks done hurt you and thrown you away. Yeah, I know, because I was there too, until I read this book by NYGHTSTORM called All Action No Talk. This dude has been there, man. He understands us. He was homeless, abused as a child, abandoned by his dad, and even his oldest son passed away. I'm encouraged because if this dude can make it, so can I, and so can you. So check it out at Nyghtstorm.com, NYGHTSTORM, and know that you have the strength to change your life despite adversity. Like him, like me, like you. Hey, you, guy or gal that's listening, are you enjoying the night storms? Good! If you want the 411 on me, YG Nightstorm,
And me, Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, visit Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Check out our informative blogs, videos, and see what Nightstorm Nation is doing to benefit the community. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Thanks again for listening to the Night Storms on Nyghtstorm Radio every Thursday at 11 a.m. to noon on Love 860 a.m. Atlanta's inspirational station. We are you.
Hi everyone, it's me, Lady Nightstorm, and have I got news for you. Want to know how to keep up with us and what we're doing in the community? It's easy. Just like us on Facebook at Nyghtstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nyghtstorm Radio and become part of the Nyghtstorm Nation mailing list at Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM. Keep up with all our promotions, contests, and latest happenings. Nyghtstorm Radio. We are you.
You are now rocking with the Night Storms on Atlanta's inspirational station, Love 860 AM WAEC. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Nyghtstorm Radio. Our topic today is breast cancer awareness because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And as we enter this last week of the drive to educate women and men about the disease, we want to let you know that we understand what you're going through. We don't just have the motto, we are you, for, kicks and whistles. We're just here to let you know that we understand, because in the first segment, we've been there, not all the way to the point of actually having the disease, but knowing, the emotional effect that it has on being involved in that circumstance. If you would like to call in and be a part of the conversation, the number here is 404-355-8699. That's right here in Atlanta. And anywhere else, call 866-923-2860.
Yeah, now, sweetheart, I know that this disease affects women 99% of the time, but a little less than 1% of the cases are men. Okay, now let's talk about this. According to the American Cancer Society and the American Society of Clinical Oncology, all people, whether male or female, are born with some breast cells and tissue. Okay, even though males do not develop milk-producing breasts, a man's breast cells and tissue can still develop cancer, as we said earlier. Now, even so, male breast cancer is very rare. Less than 1% of all breast cancer cases develop in men, and only 1 in 1,000 men will ever be diagnosed with breast cancer. But breast cancer in men is usually detected, like you said earlier, as a hard lump underneath the nipple and areola. Men carry a higher mortality than women do, primarily because awareness among men is less, and they are less likely to assume a lump is breast cancer.
Exactly.
Now,
macho.
Yeah, I mean, we so macho with this stuff. And as a man, I must say that we don't always look at stuff. We like, oh, man, it'll just go away. I'm so strong. My blood is so powerful. Whatever's affecting me. It's like some dudes I know, they refuse to take cold medicine when they get sick. Okay, they could be just in the bed with the flu and just refuse it. Man, I'm a man. I don't need cold medicine.
Okay.
I don't need cold medicine, YG. I'm like, man, I need some because you're coughing on me.
Look.
Okay? But we get like that sometimes, and we refuse to do anything because we think going to the doctor is a sign of weakness. Now, this comes from mid-20th century thinking, you know, when a man don't need nothing but himself. But guess what, fellas? We need to do something about this. Now, of the men who develop breast cancer, the vast majority of those cases are infiltrating ductal carcinoma. Carcinoma, IDC. Make sure I say that correctly. Thank you, sweetheart. Which means cells in or around the ducts begin to invade surrounding tissue. Very rarely a man may be diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer or Paget disease of the nipple. Now, this thing invades you. That's the key word here. And we men like to think about battlefront tactics all the time. Something is invading you.
And invading the tissue around it.
Invading the tissue around it. So we need to do something to actively fight back. And that's through early detection and getting checked out. Now, these are the risk factors. Radiation exposure is a risk factor. High levels of the hormone estrogen, which is mainly in women, but we have it too, is a risk factor. Family history of breast cancer, especially breast cancer that is related to the BRCA2 gene. Okay, now some signs and symptoms. Come on, fellas, listen to this. Male breast cancer can exhibit the same symptoms as breast cancer in women, including the lump. Okay, and anyone who notices anything unusual about their breast, whether male or female, should contact their physician immediately, not next week. We're talking about immediately. Survival rates and treatment for men with breast cancer are very similar to those for women. Early detection of breast cancer increases treatment options and often reduces the risk of dying from breast cancer. Like I said earlier, we might think 410 deaths with men per year is a small number until it's you.
Exactly. That is so true, Raji. And there are different forms of treatment available. If you find yourself to be one of the thousands who are diagnosed with this disease every year, the treatment out there includes surgery, hormone therapy, targeted therapy, and also nutrition and physical activity. But the main treatments that everyone knows that you go through when you're diagnosed with cancer is radiation and chemotherapy. Now, these methods of treatment, they wreak havoc on our bodies, okay? Because basically they're taking radiation, they put it in liquid form, and they're running it through your body, through an IV. To kill the cancer. But along the way, it's killing other stuff too. This is freaking radiation here. So this is going to have an effect on your body, and it's going to have an effect on your skin. So we have a guest here today, and she's going to educate us about how to take care of our skin during this process. If you're one of the thousands who, I'm sorry, if you're one of the thousands who are dealing with this right now, you're dealing with chemotherapy and radiation therapy. So, Jared.
Wait. Hold on, my queen.
What?
In my British accent.
I was trying.
You were trying to skip over my British accent.
I was going to bring in the guest just so you would have to deal with this,
Since
Jared.
you love my British accent, and Nyghtstorm Nation loves it, Jared, if you can cue that music, please, so we can introduce our guest properly.
Oh, wow. I tried to save us this weekend. He just leapfrogged over me.
Nyghtstorm Nation, our distinguished guest is here. Take it away, my queen.
Our guest is the founder of La Aisha, the first company dedicated to the specialized skincare needs of women who are in the prime of their lives and through the use of safe, effective, natural, organic products.
She is recognized expert on beauty in women over 40, and a public speaker of the myth of cosmetic safety. Her program teaches people how to mitigate the dangers posed to human health and the environment, and educate cancer survivors on caring for their skin naturally after exposure to radiation and chemotherapy. So, ladies and gentlemen of Nyghtstorm Nation, it is our honor, privilege, and pleasure to introduce to you Miss Sharon Gnatt Epel.
Hi, Sharon, are you there?
I am. Good morning, and thank you for having me on your wonderful program.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. So, let's get into this, Sharon. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jared.
Okay, delay on the crowd. That's all right.
Thank you. Thank you. And she does her queen wave.
Those are the people outside.
No, okay then.
Who can't get in the club. All right, so Sharon, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well. Now, let me ask you this question. Now, you've heard us talking and chit-chatting about this, and you are an expert at this. So, what was the inspiration behind the creation of NYGHT Skincare?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, YG, I think you did a great job, also Lady Nyghtstorm, of explaining all of this really comprehensively. And there's one additional factor that I'd like to bring up, and that has to do with where those cancer rates are coming from. And that will explain how I got into this.
Okay, well, go right ahead. We love having other experts on. That's why we invited you to our show.
That's right.
Well, thank you. So there was a study done in 2010 by Susan M. Domchek, who is the director of the Cancer Risk Evaluation Program at Abramson Cancer Center. And what her study showed was that only 5 to 10% of breast cancer and ovarian cancer, which is related, comes from hereditary factors, or you mentioned the BRCA gene, or any of those other familial situations. So that means that, 90% of it is coming from someplace else?
Okay.
And that's a huge concern. We are seeing more and more women in their 20s who are being diagnosed with breast cancer, and as YG mentioned, men as well. And when I hit 40, my girlfriend started dropping like flies.
Wow. And
I had a couple of scares myself. I lost my mother. I lost my very best friend about in 2010. And I was determined to get into research and figure out what was going on. And one of the things I discovered was that one of the contributing factors, like YG mentioned earlier, has to do with hormone disruption. So that means that estrogen is coming from someplace and bombarding everybody, men and women. And that's what kind of got me into this. There was another factor, and that was I have he's not anymore, he's 25 now, but my son was 17 at the time, and he was in a summer expedition studying the rainforest, and he was exposed to agricultural chemicals. And a whole group of kids were whitewater rafting, and everywhere that the kids came in contact with the water, they started to develop blisters. And it turned out that there was a local fruit plantation that was illegally using agricultural chemicals. And the stuff seeped into the water every night when there was a torrential downpour, and the kids would go in the river the next day. And everywhere that they got these, I mean, these are not just little blisters. These were kind of things you expect to see in Ripley's Believe It or Not, blisters that hung over the sides of your hands and your knees, and it was pretty horrifying. And one of the contributing factors to cancer is exposure to this particular chemical. And that's what got me into it. It was, my personal experience with myself, my mother, my friends, and then this toxic exposure to my son. So it kind of showed me that these harmful chemicals are everywhere, and something has to be done about it.
Wow. So my next question would be, why do you specialize in women over 40? What statement do you want your brand to make?
Oh, that's a great question. And the truth is that although this has become a bigger problem for everybody, there was a study done in 2007 that showed that women are slowly poisoning themselves in order to look good. And we all do this, and men are getting, jumping on the bandwagon now too. But it's been suggested that the average woman absorbs about 5 pounds of toxic material a year from the cosmetics that she applies topically, and this is coming in through her skin. When you think about it, everything is chemical exposure. From the minute you're born and you're in the hospital, and you're given a body wash as an infant, as a newborn, or putting on lotions or diaper rash creams, and it extends as we get older to deodorants, shampoos, moisturizers. So if you think about it, how much of this material has been accumulated in your body by the time you're 40? And if you wonder how much is actually coming in through your skin, research has shown that it's approximately 60% of everything you apply topically winds up in your bloodstream.
Wait a minute. Hold on,
Yeah.
Sharon. Wait a minute, because you done hit on something here, because there are millions of people in this country and billions of people in the world who use products every single day, okay? And you're saying that just with the ladies alone, you can put in over 5 pounds of these chemical products per year. But then to stop and think of the deodorant that we put on and the lotion that we put on, these things could be contributing factors to cancer as well, ma'am. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And it's backed up by a lot of research. And if you wonder, how true is it that you can really absorb stuff through your skin? The truth of the matter is the skin is the largest organ in the body, but it's also the thinnest. And it does a great job of protecting us from a lot of things. But the skin is permeable, and if you wonder about that, think about how people use patches that are applied to the skin for birth control, or anti-nausea medication, or people who have motion sickness. All of those things, or actually stopping smoking, right? The nicotine patches. So if you think about it, there's great validity to that. And that's scary to me, because when you're 20, you don't really think about it. But by the time you're 40, if these statistics are true, you start seeing the beginning of all kinds of health problems. And can you take a wild guess how many products the average man and women use every day?
Well, okay.
Let's see. We got our soap.
Yeah.
We have our lotion.
Yeah.
We have our deodorant.
Yeah.
Our shampoos.
Yeah. Cologne.
Yes, perfume, yeah.
Perfume,
What else you think of? Makeup, period. So lipstick or lip gloss.
Toothpaste.
Yeah. Things like that.
Right. Hair gel.
Hair gel, yeah.
So that's at least, 7, 8?
At least. You can easily
Sometimes
have at
27
least
to
10 to 15 easy per day.
Yeah. Well, the average man uses about 8 to 10. The average woman about 12. And take a wild guess how much our children are using, our teenage children.
Oh, my God.
I would say between 17 to 22.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
What?
Yeah.
Go, Margie.
Okay, now, Sarah, there's a thing that I'm only right 10% of
I
the
know.
time.
Ding in your 10%
and the queen
column.
is right 90% of the time. And this is one of those times where I'm right. Thank you, Sharon.
So, Sharon, which of these ingredients do you recommend steering clear of?
Yeah.
Well, there's a ton of stuff. The National Institute for Organizational Safety and Health, NIOSH, says that we expose ourselves to about 200 different chemicals a day through cosmetics. And there's a whole lot of ingredients that are not just in perfumes and colognes, but they're in our food, they're in pharmaceuticals, they're in cleaning detergents. And so we've got to be real careful with this stuff. So the most common of all ingredients used in cosmetics are parabens. And you've probably seen some labels on products that say, paraben and phthalate free.
Yeah.
Well, the parabens mimic estrogens, and that's a big problem. It's been incriminated as a probable cause of breast cancer. And these are used in the industry because they're cheap antimicrobials. So they're basically preservatives. And in fact, the American Cancer Society cautions breast cancer patients who are going through chemotherapy not to use hormonal creams because the hormone disruptors can delay a person's recovery, or they can even trigger another reoccurrence of the cancer. And this stuff is in parabens.
Wow.
So that's the first one I'd say you got to steer clear of.
Okay, well, when we come back, we're going to take a break. And when we come back from this break, we're going to get a little bit more into that list and find out how we can steer away from these chemicals in order to keep you from developing cancer or redeveloping cancer, as Sharon just said. So Come back here, Nightstorm Nation, to Nightstorm Radio here on WAEC Love 860 AM and learn how we can continue this fight against cancer.
This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I'm known as the woman not afraid to tell the truth about how things really are. And the truth I have to say to you is you should listen to Nightstorm Radio every Thursday from 11 to noon. And you should also like us on Facebook at Nightstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nightstorm Radio. And join the Nightstorm Nation mailing list on Nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Nightstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. We are you.
To all event planners, are you worried that your next corporate get-together is going to be boring?
Then invite the Nightstorms to speak at your next event and electrify your organization as we break down how to grow your business, fix broken relationships, and conquer life challenges.
So make your next event epic. Invite me and the Queen to rock the house with inspirational techniques designed to empower individuals and maximize their true potential.
And thanks for listening to Nightstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational station.
We are you.
This is YG Nightstorm. And why should you listen to Nightstorm Radio? Because we relate to you or someone you know with topics taken directly from our lives. Every time you tune in, you'll hear a discussion about real subjects that affect real life. Why? Because me and the Queen have been there. So join us right here every Thursday morning from 11 to noon on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. Nightstorm Radio. We are you.
Hello, Nightstorm Nation. This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I have a question for you. How much are you spending each day on lunch? $6, $7, $10 even? Do you know that for less than what you spend each week on lunch, you can advertise your business or service right here doing the show on Nightstorm Radio? Why don't you inbox us on Facebook, send us a message on Twitter, or drop us a line at Nightstorm.com. Let us show you how you can get your business or service out in front of the people. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Nyghtstorm Radio. We are speaking with Miss Sharon Gnatt Epel, founder of, and I want to make sure I say this right, NYGHT, who is talking with... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's Laisha.
Laisha. Okay, I got it right now. Laisha, who is talking to us about the natural skincare after radiation and chemotherapy. And Nightstorm Nation, if you would like to call in and ask some questions, call in at 443-558-8699 in Atlanta and 1-869-232-2860 everywhere else. And say that pretty name one more time, Sharon.
Laisha.
Laisha. Laisha. That's so easy to say, man. I love it. Go ahead, baby.
All right. Now, before our break, you were telling us about chemicals to steer away from, and you were saying the paraffin. Did you have another one that you want to enlighten us on?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, the phthalates, and that's you'll see that's written with a PH, so it doesn't look the way it sounds. But these are solvents that help dissolve ingredients in water, and so they're used in all kinds of things: deodorant, nail polish, hair gel, shampoo, lipstick, and mascara even. And they're often hidden, so they're not disclosed on product labels. And many of these have already been banned. And the reason for that is because they are hormone disruptors also. And they have found very high levels of this, unfortunately, in children and women of reproductive age. And the phthalates actually cause a malformation of male reproductive organs and birth defects in male and female reproductive systems. And they do cross the placenta barrier. You've probably seen a lot of young girls now have premature breast development. You know, you'll see girls even in kindergarten and first grade who are already developing breasts. And phthalates have been indicated in that. And phthalates have been linked to breast cancer since 1997.
Okay, now quick thing, because we have been noticing how these children are maturing very, very quickly, and we know it's a lot of stuff in the food, and we'll always say, man, they just pumping steroids in the food now. Okay, but you're actually breaking down that some of this stuff, you have an actual name for it, and it's
in the, like, get some lotion, when you get out the shower.
And rub it in, and these chemicals are in here, and that's why our youngsters are maturing, quickly. Now, when you also talking about this affects men as well, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, these are sort of environmental causes of breast cancer, right? These are not things that are hereditary. You don't get this from your parents. This is from direct exposure to things in our environment. And I got involved with it because I do believe that these things should be exposed, and they can be eliminated or at least reduced significantly.
Wow. Now, Sharon, there are literally thousands of products on the market that we need to choose from. So what should a well-informed consumer know about sifting through the maze of personal care products?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is to learn how to read labels.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Now, the only label we're looking at is the price, right?
Uh-oh. Sharon, you don't ask Americans to read labels.
Now I will say I've seen more and more people, reading labels. But lots of times when you run into the store, we're in a hurry and we want to see what's on sale. Like I said, we're just checking the price, grabbing it, let's go.
Okay, so basically, if you turn that bad boy around and you see a label with a whole bunch of long words that you can't pronounce, well, is that a kind of like a trigger?
Yeah, it's like a red flag, absolutely. Do you remember that terrific commercial they used to have on, I think it was Breyer's Ice Cream, where they had those kids trying to pronounce? It's the same thing with this stuff. You got to understand, the personal care market is not regulated, okay? So there's no pre-market screening program for products that come out. And not all ingredients are required to be listed on the labels also.
Wait a minute, hold on one more time. I want you to say that one more time. The personal care market is not regulated. Are you kidding me?
So I could go in the kitchen and throw anything together and say, here's
and market it to millions of people, and then you don't even have to put all the ingredients on your product. Are you kidding me, Sharon?
No. This is true. This is true. The FDA is, has a lot going on. They don't have that many people working for them, and it's, they cover everything from drugs to food. So it's a big challenge. The other interesting thing is that even though the ingredients may be listed on the label, one thing that is never checked is the combination of chemicals, for toxic interactions. And there was a thing, I think it was last year with a hair product that shall remain unnamed, that people were complaining about terrible symptoms after using it. And it turned out there were high levels of formaldehyde in it, and the manufacturer swore up and down that they did not put formaldehyde in it. Well, as it turned out, when they did some tests on it, it was the interaction of the chemicals that produced the formaldehyde as a side, as a side thing. So it's tricky stuff. And the reason that manufacturers can get away with this basically is because there are certain guidelines about toxic materials and what percentage can be found in each product. The big problem is that how many people use one product? I mean, we already saw that. You can use up to 20 products a day. So even though for each individual product the levels of some toxic material might be acceptable, once you start piling up and using multiple products, you've got a problem.
Wow. Okay. I'm hearing it, everything you're saying, and basically what I'm getting out of this conversation is that there has to be a certain amount of self-responsibility here for us as consumers, okay? Because, like you said, the FDA, they don't have enough people to check these things. And
who would have thought that mixing these two chemicals is going to make you a byproduct, basically what she's saying with the formaldehyde.
Okay, so basically, we have to take some ownership and responsibility for our health here, okay? And I know October is Breast Cancer Month, okay? Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in your opinion, Sharon, because we've been talking about a lot of deep things here where folks have to take the power back for themselves and start looking at the labels and understanding how the symptoms and how to take care of ourselves. So I want to ask you this, what can women realistically do to help safeguard, for their breast health, especially after all this stuff is out here that's just like a cesspool trying to kill us?
Yeah, I would think it's all of us because it's women and men.
It's women and men. This stuff is killing everybody. Yeah. So what can we do, man?
Well, I think the first thing is to realize that we live in the real world, so you're not going to be able to live a pure existence and eliminate everything. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's important to pick and choose your poisons, number one. And I mean that very literally. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is to offset what I call your toxic overload. So let's say you decide that you're going to wear some real sparkly eyeshadow that has God knows what in it. Make sure that you're reducing something else and using something that's more pure so that you reduce that toxic overload. You reduce the total number of things that you're using so that you don't overload your system. And then you need to do your homework. And it's just like YG mentioned, you have to take the power back. You got to read labels, and you need to try to support manufacturers who have eliminated certain toxins from their product line. Mm-hmm. And don't expect the government to protect your health interests. That's not what they do. If you're going to go for, let's say, a mani-pedi, then bring your own non-toxic polish to the nail salon. There are ways around this.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so you have dropped a whole lot of good information. How can people reach you, ma'am?
Yeah, definitely. So we want to know, do we need to be ashy in order to wear, the shiny eyeshadow? Or,
Don't do that hell when we go to the event.
Yeah.
Just come out all natural.
Right?
It's like, you better love me because I ain't trying to poison myself. I'm sorry, Sharon. How can folks reach you, man?
Well, the first thing I'm going to offer all your listeners is if they would like a copy of the toxic chemicals that you should avoid, they can just send us a quick email at customer service at law, and I'll spell it for you, LA-ISHA.com. And we'll be happy just to send you a copy of that and of a chart that's put out by the Breast Cancer Fund in San Francisco. They're a major organization that does research to eliminate the environmental causes of breast cancer. And so they have a chart out there that will show you the direct correlation between certain chemicals and breast cancer. So we're real happy just to send you all a quick email with that stuff. So feel free to write us. And the website is www.law-isha.com. And there's lots of information there. We have a glossary of ingredients that you can take a look at. It tells you where some of our ingredients come from. And check out our information. We're all about education.
Well, you know something, my queen? I am definitely going to check out LaIsha.com.
Of course.
Okay, because I want to protect you, baby.
And yourself, too.
Yeah, I'm going to protect me. But see, I'm as a guy, and I'm going to break this down just like for fellas, we are very protective of our queens, and we're very protective of our daughters. So, fellas, this is not just a fight for the women. This is a fight for us, too. Mm-hmm. And we need to take our power back and protect us and our ladies by going to LaIsha.com. Okay, now we have been talking about a lot of deep stuff,
right,
and how so many things out here can hurt us, that is giving us cancer, and that are killing us in an alarming rate. But there is one word that I can say that can help ease a whole ocean of disparity. And that word is love.
That's right. Love for ourselves, love for our family.
Ourselves. And go ahead, sweetie.
No, you go ahead.
We've come to the love shout-out section of our show where members of Nyghtstorm Nation get to spread some love to each other over the airwaves. So, sweetheart, who do we got first?
Well, first of all, I want to send a love shout-out to the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Yes.
This foundation was founded in memory of Susan by her sister in 1982, and they have invested more than $2.5 billion in groundbreaking research for breast cancer, community health outreach, advocacy, and other programs in more than 30 countries. And I carried their card as my debit card, and I've just I have my breast cancer Fight Like a Girl shirt, and I just definitely want to send a shout out to the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Yeah, very, very powerful organization doing many things and changing lives. Also, Brad wants to send his love to Jill, who is currently battling this dreaded disease, and he wants her to know that he is with her every step, and she is beautiful no matter what.
That is
Amen.
Wonderful. Amen. Sharon, is there anyone you would like to send a love shout out to?
Yes, and that would be to the family of a good friend of mine who just passed away from triple-negative breast cancer last week, and that would be Steve Hall, and tell him to hang in tight there. We all love Cherry, and we hope that he becomes active in the fight.
All right.
Amen.
And YG, I want to send my love out to you, as always, my king. Thank you for being the man that you are and supporting me and being there during our scare and any other time, whether it's good or bad. I really love you. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, my queen. And if you had come down with it and you had to go through chemo and all your hair fell out, I'll just rub your head every day and kiss it and tell you how much I love you, because it don't matter. You are everything. You are my life, and I appreciate you. And the love that a lot of folks have for each other who have personal folks in their life that are suffering from this disease, continue loving them. Continue giving them that support, because it matters and it helps.
And the people that are personally been diagnosed with breast cancer, want to let you know that you have an army of people behind you. They love you and care about you and want the best for you.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and a big love shout out to Sharon. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Thank you, man.
And love shout out to Nyghtstorm Nation. And Sharon, go ahead.
I was just going to thank you for doing this important program and getting this information out to everybody. I really, really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
No problem. All right.
All right. Now, we always end the show with the Nyghtstorm Nation anthem. And if Jared, you can cue that music, sir. Stepping out of the darkness and into the light, we are here together in the combined power of individuals who dare to be above the status quo to initiate change.
Regardless of our inadequacies or the mistakes that lie in our past, we make the difference of success over failure within our families, our business, and our communities.
We come together as one body, one soul, and one mind, spreading the fruitfulness of truth and empathy to those that need it most.
May we all be blessed in our journey as we scatter across the globe, bringing the healing power of love until we see each other again.
I love me. I love you. And we will change the world. We are Nyghtstorm Nation. And we are you. God bless you. Have a good week.
Y'all.